What's up, everybody? It's Chris Curls. This is the Highest Underground Show. It has been quite a while since I filmed my last video. You know, I want to start marketing the Highest Underground Show once I get about 10 or 12 episodes. And I've been busy with work the past few months. Everything's been crazy. I really didn't know what to say. I'm still in shock over everything. Everywhere I go, people wear masks on their face, even though masks don't help and aren't effective at all. And the prevention, the spread, the protection. In my next video, I'm going to read an article for you and post it on there. I've been learning a little bit more on my computer so that I can show you my screen and still film an episode. And I'm going to pull that article up and we're going to read it. I'm also going to start reading specific chapters so that you can listen to some audiobooks, because I read a lot of books, but I know that a lot of people don't read. But you can listen. You don't have to watch the video. You can just listen and I can comment on it, which gets around the YouTube copyright violations, because I'm commenting on the book and talking about it and not just reading it and trying to make money some kind of way off, you know, reading their book for free. I'm going to start recording 2 shows a week. That's the goal I set for myself. I think that's pretty feasible, especially if I'm just commenting and reading on a book. It's just going to help me get out there, because there's a lot of things we need to talk about. The election is right around the corner, and I told people this: Donald Trump is going to win by a bigger margin than he did in 2016. It's not even going to be close, in my opinion. If you go on Twitter and Facebook and things like this, I'm not on Facebook, but I am on Twitter. But if you go on there, you would think that there's so many Trump supporters and people who are, I guess, a little more awake than others. And then I almost believe that there's millions and millions of accounts on Twitter that are CIA-controlled bots. The algorithms have gotten so good that they can sit here and banter with someone over a topic, and this person's getting all enraged and they're just arguing with the computer that's got a specific algorithm to type certain things. I mean, I don't know. It just seems weird. I don't waste my time trying to argue and convince people on Twitter. I do think about filming a little 5-minute video on a topic so I can get my point across, and when I'm trying to argue with people that way. But, you know, screw it. So I'm going to start filming 2 shows a week and start just getting a little bit better using the software on my computer and some of this equipment. A lot of things that are going on right now. I mean, besides the complete craziness of everybody walking around with underwear on their face, is, you know, I guess professional sports. I don't know. I grew up watching sports. I don't watch any sports now. Especially NBA and NFL, but I did grow up watching these sports, and now it never used to seem so political, but now it is. I mean, I guess because Facebook and Twitter and things like that and social media has allowed athletes to express their thoughts and opinions. Everybody sees it. They don't have to go through the media filter or the media gatekeepers. They can just do it from their Instagram account or their Twitter account. So we see a lot of people coming out, and the thing is that I'm not opposed to sports people being political. What I am opposed to is that you can only be one side. You can't be conservative. You can't be the other side of the story. You can't say all lives matter. It has to be Black Lives Matter. It has to be the liberal side. It can't be the other side. So if you're going to be political, that's fine. I don't mind it. But it needs to be, it has to be a two-way street. Breonna Taylor, this whole uproar about this girl who is dating 2 drug dealers in her town. The police raid him. Dude shoots through the door, which you can't do if you think it's an intruder. I'm sorry, you have to feel like your life is in danger. You can't shoot through the door. That's illegal in most states. Maybe there's some red conservative states where they don't care. If you feel your life is in danger, go ahead and shoot through the door. But I think most places that's illegal. But that's what he did. and then they shot in there. They didn't realize she was there, and she got hit. He didn't, which sucks because he's the one shooting. She gets hit, she dies, and it sucks. But to charge any of these officers with murder, and listen, I'm no fan of police. I've been arrested over half a dozen times, all years and years ago, for petty shit, misdemeanor possession of marijuana, underage drinking, underage possession of alcohol, just stupid shit that they tag everybody with if you're just a normal kid growing up in America. Just some way to stick it to you and give you some, get you in the records, get you paying some money into the system, getting used to it, getting your beak wet. So Breonna Taylor gets shot by the police, and like I said, I'm no fan of police. A lot of this bullshit going on right now, police, I'm not one to defund the police. I would like to demilitarize the police, because this has become a police military state. The police are way more than what police are supposed to be. They're basically soldiers who have complete authority in almost every situation, and they've abused that authority. They've abused it when they pull people over they usually intimidate you to giving up your rights, to confessing and telling on yourself when they have no right to search you, no right to even pull you over. It's all bogus, and because they've done this so many times and for so long with impunity, now this shit's coming back to bite them in the ass, and that's what's happened. So I don't feel sorry for them. However, in this Breonna Taylor case, they shouldn't be charged. That's just how it is. Listen, the music and the hip hop culture has influenced the black community since the late 70s, early 80s, since it came out, really. And it has been pushed on the people in a very big way. The topics, the lyrics, the things that they talk about in most of the hip hop culture, it glorifies promiscuity, being a player, criminal behavior. When you glorify these things and you make these things the norm, and you go to a high school, you pick a random black kid out of the high school, he's probably going to look like the drug dealer guy on the video and the rap video. That's just how it is. And when you have 70% of black children being raised in a single parent household, normally by the mother, normally by a bitter, emotional, angry woman, or a grandma. And let me tell you something, a mama and a grandma can't make a mom and a dad. It'll never happen. You need a dad there to be a dad. I'm traditional like that, but that's just how it is, because black families in the 1950s, in the 1960s, 1940s, yeah, they may have been poor in the poor neighborhoods, but they still were strong families. You had black men marrying black women, having black children, raising them up. They worked. I mean, look at the pictures back then, just your everyday. Lots of people, they wore a suit every freaking day back then. Can you imagine living in the 50s? I mean, these people didn't necessarily have some kind of jobs. They could have been just packing groceries, but people would wear a tie all the time. Now look at people. I mean, people go to class in flip-flops and walk around the store. I mean, just go to your typical Walmart and you'll see what Americans think about their appearance as they leave the house. But with this culture now in full swing since the 80s, it's come to fruition of what's going on. I mean, basically, black men are choosing criminal lifestyles and making choices in criminal behavior. They're not raising their children. They're going to jail more often than not. They have more interactions with police, but that's not saying, oh my God, systemic racism has caused a problem with, police are just killing unarmed black men left and right. I think it was 9 or 11 that died last year. It was 19 or 20 white unarmed men that died by the police. Twice as much. Even though we're more of the population, we should be more. But the thing is, people talk about how black men in particular get harsher sentences for the same crimes. Do you know why that is? Because normally they have priors. It's not someone who's just got a first offense and they got slapped with a harder punishment than the white person. Because look at Ahmaud Arbery. If he would have done his 5 years like he should have done, his first offense or his 10 years, whatever it was, he got off with a slap on the wrist and got probation, and then what do you know, he got in trouble again, and the rest is downhill. And that's how it happens. Instead of punishing these people and putting them in jail for these crimes where maybe they would have been in jail at that time they killed that person or they committed that crime. The thing is that crime is rampant in the black community because of the choices of black men. It's not black women. It's black women as well, I guess, for sleeping with these men instead of making them marry and making them commit, because they fed into the promiscuity narrative also. I mean, look at the videos. I mean, your typical young girl these days, it's not even black, your typical, almost all girls look like girls you would see in a freaking video. Especially if you go out at a bar or a club on Friday or Saturday nights, these girls, you can tell, it makes me sick to my stomach to look back in my life and realize how seduced and fooled I was by the propaganda that was being pushed on me through hip-hop music, because I fell for it. I was that drug dealing kid listening to hip-hop all the time, making bad decisions, acting like a gangster. And I wish I could go back and just shake some sense into myself. But whatever, you know, those who can do, those who can't teach. And so it's my job to teach. And this culture in the music has influenced everybody, but especially black people. And it's put black people on this pedestal like, you know, you got to be a rapper or a ball player to actually have any kind of clout in the black community. Where's like the strong black, like Malcolm X or the Marcus Garvey? Most black people don't even know who Marcus Garvey is, but that's who they need to be reading over Martin Luther King anyway. You don't have any of these strong leaders anymore, like a Reverend or, you know, honestly, Louis Farrakhan is my favorite, hands down. He is the leader of the black Muslims, I guess. I think that's what they're called, but everybody knows who Louis Farrakhan is. I love Farrakhan. Farrakhan is based. He knows what's up. He knows what's up with the JQ. And we'll talk about that some more in some later episodes, because one of the books that I'm going to be reading is called The Iron Curtain Over America. It's by John Beatty. And it was written like in 1950s. I like reading books that were written back then because it's before the politicization of a lot of topics that are taboo now. So I'm going to read one chapter at a time, so that way you can listen to one chapter at a time when you're working out, when you're taking your dogs on a walk, when you're cleaning the house. Put those headphones in, listen to the videos, stop listening to music, stop watching stupid shit like TV, listen to lectures, fill your brain and your time up with positive energy and positive topics. I don't even listen to music anymore unless I'm around other people and they're playing it. I don't even care. I have such a thirst for learning because I realize how much I've been lied to about everything. So y'all, always be grateful. There was a death kind of in my family not too long ago, heroin overdose. Once again, I mean, everybody's known someone who's died of a heroin overdose. It seems like it's very common now. It's, you know, you want to talk about like a pandemic, let's talk about that. No one can name people who they know that's died of coronavirus and not any other comorbidities. But if you ask anybody who's, do they know anybody personally who's died of a heroin overdose or an opiate overdose in general, I bet they probably pull out a first and last name really quick. So always be thankful, y'all. Be thankful if you have 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 eyes, you can hear, you can smell, you can taste, that you have people, friends and family in your life. If you don't, then you need to look at yourself and seeing if you're pushing that away or is there something wrong. And if so, hit me up through the email on the show. Let's talk about it. So y'all, I'm gonna start filming more shows more regularly, and we're going to start talking about some things. We're going to start discussing some things that some of it might get me banned from YouTube. So I'm really going to push all my shows on BitChute, because BitChute at least doesn't is more promoting free speech, which is what I'm all about. So y'all, peace out.